What's up? Matt from Rewire here. So I'm just carrying on with the PDM at the moment, and I've got the harness basically finished. This is sort of plug and play, ready to go now. Got all the ends on, bar a couple of grounds, and the main power signal coming into the PDM. This is the only other one that needs making off. This is the fuel sender and fuel pump. This is a little bit more complicated because the sender needs to read, the PDM needs a 0 to 5 volt signal from empty to full. So we basically got to measure the resistance across it at full and empty, and then work out what size pull-up resistor it needs, so that as it sweeps from empty to full, you're getting a change in voltage from 0 to 5 volts. So we need to take the fuel sender out and basically just measure that resistance at empty, measure it at full, and then once that's worked out, it can actually fill the tank up in increments and record the exact voltage, and then have a very accurate fuel level. Because that was an issue with my other dash setup, was it never worked properly, so I would always basically just fill the car up and always have way more fuel than I needed. So it would be nice to know exactly how much fuel's in there, and then I can see exactly how much fuel I'm using per session and stuff like that as well. So this is good to go. All these connectors are Deutsch connectors. So I bought a set of these Amazon Deutsch connectors, but then I buy genuine pins. These are from Pole Vault, and all the connectors that you need for doing sort of automotive stuff, I've got them from Pole Vault, and all the little pins and stuff as well. And then another company that I've used is RS Components. So I've got, these are all DT connectors, and then I've got a few DTM, which are a smaller connector as well. But the difference between the pins is, this is the cheap pin that comes with the cheap Amazon connectors, and I'll show you what these do. So these just crush and crack. They're brittle. They just fall to pieces. Whereas the genuine ones are a proper little turned pin. So I wouldn't recommend the cheap stuff, but the actual connector bodies themselves, these are some genuine ones. Very difficult to tell the difference. They do seem to clip together nicely. The seals all seem exactly the same in them. So yeah, I'm quite happy to use the cheaper connector bodies and the genuine pins, just to save a few quid. I've used this expandable braid to cover the harness. So this is, yeah, basically ready to fit in. I've got these little cable tie holder things, which you would normally just drill and rivet in. I've been cutting off little strips of 3M VHB, which stands for very high bond tape, and sticking that on the back. And this is the same stuff they make GoPro mounts out of. If you've ever tried to pull one of them off, you know how well they stick. And I'm sticking them all in the car like that, just so that I don't have to drill a load of holes in the car. So I'm going to go around, basically mount these all around the car, everywhere the harness is going to run, get everything cable tied in place and installed, and then we should be ready to power everything up and start configuring stuff. Right, so I'm just getting my fuel sender. Oh, this is tight. Just thought I'd show you this before I seal it all back up. What I've done is measured the ohms reading with the sender full and empty. We got 111 ohms with it full, 4 ohms with it empty. So I've then calculated what pull-up resistor I need. That little resistor in there, and that's on my 5-volt line, which is connected to the signal wire and the ground wire of the sender, and then the purple's the fuel pump. That is the ground for the fuel pump, and hopefully when I plug this in we should be able to cycle that and then plug the laptop in and read a 0 to 5 volt difference between full and empty. So I'll plug that in now and get it set up and see if it's working. This is the instructions on how to calculate your pull-up resistor. So it says to correctly dimension the pull-up resistor, measure the two resistor values with it full and empty, multiply the highest value by 9 to obtain the pull-up resistor value to be used. So I calculated my pull-up resistor to be a 1000 ohm resistor, but when I was looking at the reading, when I was going from full to empty, I was getting 30 to 500 millivolts, which is between 0 and half a volt, and I was expecting to see between half a volt and 5 volts. So I phoned Frank at AIM and asked the question, and so it's done like that to reduce the current flowing through the fuel tank, which obviously makes a lot of sense. But anyway, so just to show you what I've done and how I've done this, you can create your own custom sensor in here, and this is where you put all your values in. So my value with the sender all the way up was 27 millivolts, and with it all the way down was 506 millivolts. I could have just put 27 as max, 506 as minimum. This would have been a dead straight line, and then I could have done this in a percentage format from empty to full. Instead of doing that, I've got this mapped out basically to the litre. So I had to put 3 litres in first to actually get the float to move slightly. So it took 3 litres to just hit that bottom value. Then I continued to put 3 litres in at a time and record each value until I got up to 39 litres, which was all I had here. So this maps the shape of the tank, which is narrower at the bottom, and it's obviously an odd shaped tank, so it's not going to fill. If it was a dead rectangular tank, you could just go diagonally from there to there and it's going to fill at the same level, but because it's an odd shape, that's why this line is sort of wiggly. I know the maximum that the tank can take is 48 litres. I only had 39, so from 39 to 48 there is just a straight line, but I'm not really ever going to be filling it above that. So if you happen to have an AIM device on an MX-5 and you want to calibrate your fuel tank really accurately, there's all your values there that you can put in, and that will give you a gauge that works to the litre. I've got real precise fuel level exactly to the litre, so I can work out exactly how much I'm using in a session, and you know, only fill the car up to exactly what it needs. So saves on weight, and I also think it's safer to have less fuel. Right, that's basically everything wired in. So the first cock up I've made is this is my loom which comes down, goes to my lights. Here I've got my 2 brake sensor plugs for the front and rear, so I can have bias percentage front and rear as I adjust my bias adjuster. So can you see what the issue is here? My bias adjuster is in the middle of the car, not at the master cylinder. So the rear brake pressure sensor needs to be obviously off the back of that. So yeah, that's pretty stupid. Other than that, it went in a treat. So my wheel is set up and working. PDM is all working as it should. I've just sort of done a basic configuration on it just to get things up and running. I'll show you how I've got this set up. So press and hold turns lights on. Short press changes from high to low. Press and hold turns lights off. Indicators. This is my ignition, turns all the ignition functions on, and this is start. We've got these multi-position ones which can be programmed for whatever I want, and then I've got my buttons down here. I'll probably have ignition, start again, maybe hazards, and then this one. This one cycles through the different displays. These all need setting up in the software. So I'm going to do a more advanced configuration on this. The PDM knows if you're turning left or right, or if the car's upside down, so you can have your indicators set to self-cancel once you turn. You can also have it set to self-isolate. If you turn, flip the car upside down, it'll just cut everything off, which is obviously a pretty handy safety feature and something that I'll implement. But I've just got the basic setup in here because that's all I really know how to do at the moment. I'm still learning the software, so this is good enough to get going. So have a look a bit at the ECU now. I was hoping to have it running, but I've not been able to get the thing to spark, so we're just going to see if we can sort that issue out. So just to check my timing, I have rigged up this little setup. So I just ground down a bolt to the same size as the spark plug to fit in, because obviously it's a coil on plug, you've got nowhere to put the timing gun. So that goes on there, and then timing light clamped onto here. Now I can check my timing. So I'm cranking it over with the timing light and I'm getting nothing coming through on here. Injection and ignition output test. So I can select ignition output 1, test it. I don't know if you probably can't see that, but the spark plug's sparking. So then I thought, oh, maybe the timing light's not working. I can verify that the timing light is working, but it's just not. It's not getting a signal. For whatever reason, this isn't sparking when I'm cranking. What I really like about this Maxx software is there's lots of stuff you can use in the software to check things are working. So you can use this, basically press start, crank it over. So I can verify I've got signal for that. There's something in the software somewhere that's not set right. Because I've verified obviously that the wiring's correct and everything's working as it should, so it's just going to be something not like turned on or something. Right, I've pretty much reached my limit of what I can try on here. I'm really struggling to understand what's going on. Right, car's running now. Steve remotely connected in and spotted the issue straight away, which was this map I got from the Maxx ECU website. Digital input 1 was a kill switch. For some reason that was enabled, so that was why it wasn't sparking. Great success! Alright, so as I said in the previous video, I've set up a competition where you can win £2,500 of AIM products. So you can get yourself anything you want off the AIM website, which is aimshop.com. That's enough to get yourself a PDM 32 and 10-inch digital dash, exactly the same as I'm running in here. They do stuff for motorcycle racing, motocross, sim racing, cars, off-road trucks, any type of motorsport. There'll be something on there to suit whatever it is you're doing. Even if you're just building a custom car, there's camera systems. Yeah, there's all sorts. So head over to aimshop.com, go and have a look and just see if there's anything on there that you want. And it'll be a voucher that I can send to anyone anywhere in the world, so you can enter this from anywhere and being with a chance of winning £2,500 worth of whatever you want, basically. If you're looking at this stuff and thinking it's too complicated for me, I wouldn't be able to set that up or get it set up, I was in exactly the same boat when I started with all this stuff. And the tech support you get from AIM is absolutely top notch. I've been chatting with Frank, the guy there, and he's helped me through so much stuff with getting all this stuff set up and actually learning it all. And now I feel like I am actually getting my head around it, whereas initially I definitely was struggling with the setup because I'm not very computer minded. So yeah, don't let that put you off. The details for that will be here. You can scan this code and it will take you straight to it, or I'll put the details in the description box of the video. It's going to be £5 a ticket. There'll be a limited amount of tickets, and I'll also put the details on my website, urchfab.com. This is good to go. All the hard work is done for me now. Well, all the work is done for me now. The rest is down to Steve at PVE. So yeah, next stop, dyno. Everybody loves a dyno video, and I'm looking forward to it. That's going to be it for this one. Cheers for watching. See you on the next one.